Good evening.
Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Pretty good. There seemed to be a little bit of a mix up with the schedule because this was supposed to be actually at 4 o'clock, but we switched it around for you. I think it was a mistake on her part, but we'll just get started with everything.
Okay, I'm
Let me,
nice.
yeah, everybody has a busy schedule, so I totally get it. No problem at all. Anyways, I want to introduce myself. I'm a podcast host for Industrious Illumination Show. Welcome on the show. And I want to see, what do you do for a living?
Right now I am a retinal photographer, and so I work full time, single mom full time, solo mom, solo parenting, and I run Harmony's Closet, which is a nonprofit, and yep, that's what I do.
So you said, what is it called? What type of photographing is it? Explain a little bit more in detail because I used to be like a CUTV cameraman when I was in college about 20 some years ago. We used to do sports and all this other different types of stuff. Explain exactly what that is that you do, like more specifically.
Oh, for the imaging
Yes.
photographer, yeah, it's retinal. So I take pictures and images for the back of the eye, your retina. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now I see what you're saying. Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, all right. So just helping people make sure to see what's wrong with their eye and make sure it gets better, basically, is basically what it sounds like. Okay. So I have five key questions here, and just answer them to the best of your ability. Some shows last from 20 minutes to almost to an hour. We'll try to make it as quick as we can be here. But she specifically picked you because it's like, oh well, she's in the United States and she's single mother. Single mothers have it tough these days because everything's going up. Trying to support for your kids. I mean, it's not easy.
right.
So it looks like, what is the most significant obstacle you've overcome, and how do you turn it into an opportunity?
Well, homelessness. Um, my daughter and I have been homeless before, and we went to transitional housing and did that program. It's actually a program you do for transitional housing to get back on your feet. Um, they can help you with employment. However, you can seek your own employment as well. And then you have to go to like little therapy counseling, do a little small introduction of finances as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I went through that, and so that's when so that was my obstacle, and the opportunity that I see from that is Harmony's Closet. Harmony's Closet is a it's very different from other nonprofit organizations. So Harmony's, there's no money involved. Um, so all it is going back to,
She just dropped off. Oops. I don't know what's going on with the signal. It's a bad signal. When she gets back on.
I'm I'm sorry I lost you on the
Oh,
phone.
it's totally fine. Just keep on going what you're talking about because I'm going to add to your story.
Okay, so then Harmony's Closet is very different. It is actually more of a trading base. So it's if you will, like some people, I target people that are like, I don't want to say target, but I really seek out people that are like have to an abundance of things, and people who are transitioning out of different things, whether it's a transitional housing or whether it's, they're coming out of incarceration, they become homelessness in any way, shape, or form. Maybe it's just a young couple who is getting their first home and, the budget is tight or whatever, any kind of transitional basis that they have, we try to provide them material goods, because that's one less stress that they have to go through. They're already going through whatever they have to go through. So I will seek out people who will volunteer to give and donate to those who are in need. So, and sometimes I've bought, like mattresses. If I can't find anybody, I'll go out and buy things and do things like that. But majority of the times, what'll happen is I'll find somebody that will trade or that wants to clean out their garage, and they have too many things. Like the other day, this one lady called me up and she said, "Can you use a kit pack and play?" And I'm like, "Sure," because I know somewhere along the line there's going to be a mom who's going to need a pack and play. So we have one ready for her.
Cool.
And that's how that.
So I'm going to share you a quick experience. I
Okay.
experienced homelessness myself because I had some alcohol problems and had some gambling problems. And it took me 6 to 8 months to get steady here in Philadelphia. And then I ran a good steady business. Every single year I've had a better and better and better year. I've been in the same place for over 5 years. So I'm learning, get it straight. You're educated, stay away from the alcohol. And I've been doing that for years now. And one thing is addiction kills us sometimes. And it's one of those things, oh yeah, I have money, so I can go down there and do this and do that, and then forget my bills or whatever. Responsibility is always the key when it comes to anybody. And that's a big life learning lesson in itself, that people got to get it straight in these times, because there's a lot of evictions kicking in. There's also a lot of things going up with food and car prices and insurance, and it's happening everywhere today. Businesses are going out of business. Businesses aren't getting paid as well as they used to a couple years ago. So then I figured I'd bring my story in line with yours, because everybody's having it tough out there. So don't think just because everybody's having it tough, unless you're making so much of a big salary that you're not even feeling it. So I figured I'd get that across. All right, question number 2. What's one practical tip you can share with our listeners to help them bounce back from a tough day?
What would I tell the listeners to help them bounce back from a bad day is not to be hard on themselves. Allow yourself to be sad. Treat yourself very well, very good. No matter what the circumstances may be, that you come in from a bad day, somebody's, it seems like sometimes when you walk out the door, before you even walk out the door, you spilled your coffee. It seems like everything trickles down. You're on the road, you're going wherever you're headed to, whether it's work or grocery store or whatever. Somebody's honking at you. You have road rage because you're going the speed limit and they don't want to go the speed limit. So then that happens, and then you get to the store and all of a sudden you're charged X amounts of dollars or whatever. Something is going wrong in the store. And it just seems like it's one thing after another. It almost feels like you have a target behind your back, or it feels like, sometimes you could even think like, why me? And I know it's difficult. Sometimes you have to come back to center. You have to come back to present. You have to come back and know that it's not you. Everything else that is happening that's how, everything in its timing will happen. That's supposed to break. This is supposed to happen. The road rage, whatever. But don't let it affect you, because don't forget who you are. You are who you choose to be, not the circumstances that are happening around you. It's not what is happening to you. It's what you're having. Breath work, take a deep breath, just breathe, that helps. It helps your blood pressure. helps your cardiovascular, hydrate, and it just helps your mind. It helps you just to come back to center, knowing that you did your best, and then sometimes it's okay if you can't do your best that day. So you allow yourself to be upset, allow yourself to be sad, because, when you're sad, you're obsessing over all of the things that are happening to you. But it's a healing process too. So yeah, I mean, and it's okay, because this too shall pass. It's not going to last forever, and it's going to be all right.
Yeah, we go through tough stages in life, and I have to be honest with you, I'm going through a tough stage right now. I have never ever gotten lower than an A on a paper. Guess what? 2 Ds in 2 weeks. 2 Ds
Wow.
in a doctoral program. This instructor is just taking it to the students and letting them know this is not a master's degree program. So we got to kind of loosen up a little bit at the fact that we're a little frustrated with it. And have to be cool, calm, and collected, and still be a professional, even though I like to argue over different stuff. But I got to also realize too that they have the doctoral by their name, so they wouldn't have wrote a dissertation if they didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
So that's one of the life's learning lessons. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3. How do you balance your responsibilities as a single mom and a global impactor? And what's your secret to staying energized and motivated?
Well, how I balance out being a single mom and doing everything that I do very cautiously. And then sometimes I can't. And that's the truth. I'm not perfect. So I do take priority in my daughter, but at the same time, we have this communication, her and I tell her, hey, I'm going to be busy here. I'm going to be busy doing this and this and that. Can you do something for yourself? Can you get busy and do things, so that we're busy together? One of the agreements that we had was you go to school and I go to work. That's your work. That's your job. We both have jobs. So, and then, so she understood that. Now it's summertime, so school is out, but she still has to keep herself busy, so we communicate a lot on things, but I do still take time. I'll sit on the floor with her, we'll play Legos, we'll build things, we'll watch movies together. I take time for her as well. Every day, I'll do something with her to show her that I'm here for you. I want to spend time with you. She, being a preteen, she's sometimes, I'm not cool anymore. Come on. She don't want to spend her time with me. She doesn't want to spend all her time with me, so that's okay. So she has her alone time. I don't, and then I do, like, I'm writing 2 stories right now. I'm writing 2 books, and I'm also trying to do, podcasting. I'm trying to be a global impactor so I can get the word out there, doing audio rooms and LinkedIn as well. And so I just kind of I just go with it. I go with the flow. I just go with it. If I know she's busy and she's doing her things, boom, let's do an audio room, and just right off the bat. I planned one within an hour. I was talking about the importance of the back of the eye, your retina, how important it is to get that early detection, So I do that. And then really, for real, time management, you have to just make time for yourself. In the morning, I always meditate. Those are things there. You have to have standards. Like, you have to have things that you're not going to negotiate with.
Exactly. So I noticed that you said you have 2 books you're trying to get out there, right?
Yes, I'm still continuing writing.
Okay, my piece of advice is being an author, and about 30 of them out there, you have to be consistent on the ball, Make your own podcast show. Kind of like I'm doing here. I've been doing it since February. Should have done it 5 years ago when I first came to Philadelphia. Like, somebody told me, but I was too stubborn-headed. Oh, my book's getting big, blah, blah, blah. I'm on TV. I'm on, this and that. It's not all about that. You have to also market your book and make sure that you're getting the sales. That's one thing. I got a big crowd of 800,000 people on TV, and then a lot of 30,000 views and likes, 6,000 some likes. But the selling part is the toughest part. And you have to find the right person to do it.
Okay.
Sometimes you can't do it on your own. I'm just telling you right now. I recently just went with a literary agent. I have a movie script and a movie trailer out for it, but I got to pay a fee for another thing coming up, and I've been a month delay on it. So because I just had, it's a tough life out there for anybody. So they're trying to do hopes and dreams and stuff like that, and get the right perspective and all that other stuff. Anyways, that was my piece of advice to you, to open up something. Actually, believe it or not, lady authors have more of a success than men authors. Believe it or not, I've seen this happen. It's really amazing how some of the women authors just know how to get it out there. That's how I've seen it. Whether it be on Facebook, LinkedIn, that's another thing. Social media is a very big thing right now. So
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So let's get on to the next question. Can you share a time when you had to shift your perspective to achieve a goal and had that impact your journey? How did it impact your journey?
Sure. So my perspective was actually about my race because I'm Hispanic. All my life, I was told there's limitations to being a Mexican American. Examples, wealth, investments, titles, all of that I was told belonged to rich people or Americans, people with fair skin, such as yourself, not anybody of color, and they are the elite people. And stuff like that didn't belong to people like us, like you should know. I always heard the phrase, you should know your place. So I learned in order to achieve my goals in life that I would have to change that about myself, that frame way of thinking. I would have to squash all the learned behavior that was, placed in my mind, that was told to me of how I was programmed, if you will. And I realized you know what? I'm just as human as everybody. And that's all I am. We're all human beings, all of us. We're all humanity. We're all capable of doing and achieving goals, achieving things, achieving wealth, achieving, invest. It's okay to go ahead and invest your money, and in Fidelity or Vanguard. It's okay to go ahead and do that and plan ahead and do all those things. But I was told, as a kid that we didn't do things like that. It wasn't for us. So my perspective of who I am, and, I had to change that, and I did. I mean, look at me now. You're speaking to me. I'm speaking to you. We're having a conversation. I see you. You're successful, and you're giving me advice about books. Why? Because I can do it. You're the one who's telling me this, and this is what I was told about you, is that you could do it, but I couldn't do it. But you're the one who's telling me, hey, this is what you have to do, So it just confirms that it was good to, and prove the point that it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter anything. If you want success, it's out there for you. You have to grab it. You have to get it. But you have to do the work. You have to want it. You have to do the work, but it's possible. It's a possibility. So I was not who I am today because of that for so long. And thinking, and that mindset was a fixed mindset. And I literally had to change my mindset into a growth mindset, and that's all it is. It's all about your mindset, and everything you're programmed, just forget about it. It means nothing. I mean, what you tell yourself, what you do, and what you accomplish is what it is. It's going to be. It's out there. It's already there for you to grab it.
So there's one name that populates in my head when I was a kid, and it was Selena. Selena was a Mexican American, and she dominated. She showed that a Mexican American, before unfortunately she got assassinated over a money dispute, was so horrible. I'll never forget it. It was totally shocking. And she could have, I mean, even today, she would have been just pulling out the money. It does not matter what race you are. You can be black, pink, polka dot. You can still make the money. That's how she proved it at such an old age. Look at look at Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez is doing the same thing. You know what I mean? She's phenomenal with what she does. I mean, there's
Yeah.
always going to be somebody out there better than somebody else, no matter whether it's white, black, pink, polka dot. So it really doesn't have anything to do with that. As long as you utilize your education, you utilize what you got to do. And sometimes it works out for me, but sometimes it doesn't. So it is what it is. You have to take the constructive feedback how it is. And sometimes, all right, I'll take it okay, but sometimes I'm not okay with it because I'm competitive and I don't like to lose. So there you go. That's what it is. Mexican Americans can be just about as successful as any other race, anybody. So that's all there is to it. So
Thank you.
no problem. Final question. What is the most impactful moment you've experienced as a result of adding value to someone's life, and how did that moment shape your purpose?
Okay. There was this young lady, and she had just recently started transitioning on her own. They had given her my name and my number, and told her, this lady can help you with things, since she's just first starting to get her apartment and stuff. I spoke to her and I told her, I'm going to get you a mattress, get you what you need and everything. And she said, okay, I appreciate it. I was looking back and forth for people to donate these, mattresses for her bed, because that's what she needed. I asked her if she needed anything else, and she didn't need anything else. So, I couldn't find any. So nobody had, just anywhere. I asked everybody. I had churches, pulled out, everywhere, to ask, where can we get this? I even asked, can you donate it and will you buy, something? Nothing. So I went ahead and I got him and I ordered it. When she asked me for a mattress, I just thought, it's a mattress, like,
Mm.
you're gonna sleep on this mattress. Everybody has a mattress, right? But I didn't know that she never had a mattress before. And she actually, when it was delivered, she called me and she was crying and she just so appreciative, of receiving this. And I don't know, I've always donated things, but I didn't realize what an impact something like that can make, in somebody's life, and the meaningful, like she was telling me. And I can go on in stories like that. There's another place who I worked with this lady, and she owned this, she was helping out people for sex trafficking. She actually provided a home, so we furnished that home for her too. And she had different homes where she would place these ladies at and stuff. And you have to be very cautious how you speak and how you talk. And, they're here again, another story where they're crying because they're receiving things, and what and that just told me what we take for granted, what we think, oh, this is just a dresser, or I have, something to sit on, a chair or a mattress to sleep on. It means something. And that just impacted me so much that I was like, wow, so I no longer look at it just as, a mattress or a chair. I realize that people, and still humbly, I realize that people, they really are, they're full of gratitude. And that's an impact right there. That makes all the difference in anything, in everything you do.
Yeah, some people are not like that. Some people are very hard at it and not say a thank you. or we appreciate what you've done for us and all this other stuff. I mean, appreciation is very, very hard these days. Like in my work situation, certain jobs, certain self-employment jobs, you would think that you would get a thank you. Now, it's not like that anymore. It's like one of those things of which they find stuff to complain about more than, oh, thank you for coming in or thank you for helping out. No, no, it's not anything like that at all anymore. When I first started the sub teaching and then also the tutoring and stuff like that. I mean, people are getting more and more demanding over simple things. Like even if you went out and did something for them, the thank you is very rare. It's an old school thing where a lot of people don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I can see that, you're going out of your way, you're doing good for your community. That's a great thing to do. People have to start doing that for other people like around here, but unfortunately in Philadelphia, the businesses are falling apart. There's people renting and even at malls and stuff and stealing stuff and groups of people getting busted. So there's a lot of impact, positive impacts about everywhere, but not so much around here.
Wow, I'm sorry to
There's,
hear that.
yeah,
I would like to bring what I do out here and there and everywhere, really. I mean, I feel like this can be done globally. Everybody's
it
got
can be. It can be. Yes, yes, yes. Like if somebody has an unexpected death in the community comes together, you know what I mean, like a shooting death or something, or like that one actor who was going out to defend his property and then all of a sudden, boom, he got shot and killed. And just like that, the community came together and supplied, supplies and everything for their families and stuff. It's really shocking with what people have to go through these days.
right. I mean, this is the way I see it is when you go through a traumatic or transition, in your life, you're already going through so much. You're already having to deal with so much emotionally, mentally, it's heartbreaking. And so to have to worry about some materials, I mean, come on, this is a material thing that people can provide, people can have to give, and that's all it is. And what I like and what I like to teach people when they're donating and they're doing this is that you're going to get something from that. You're going to get something from giving, whatever void that you have in your life or whatever you're dealing with, whatever shame, whatever, anything that's negative in your life. When you give and you donate and you make a difference in somebody's life, you're going to feel so much better. That's going to go away, and that's the point right there is that it's a win-win.
Sure.
There's
Absolutely.
there's at all.
Yes, it is. It's totally good. Well, this has been totally awesome. And I hope it's just been as awesome for me as it's been awesome for you to connect. And I appreciate your time as well. And I'd also like to connect with you, but I don't LinkedIn and me don't get along. So if you have another way to communicate with WhatsApp or something like that, that'd be great. Stay in contact with you. I also like to send a review link because there's another website I have. I'm getting this podcast going and go under social media so I can get some services going with that or this new website I'm trying to get. So if I could, like, for instance, if you could send my contact, my assistant, or if you want to send it in the chat here of what your contact information is and stuff like that, if you want to keep in touch with that, I'll send you a link over there from bark.com, which is like a community of contractors and stuff like that, where they review the podcast basically. And I would greatly appreciate your feedback and everything like that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Let me go ahead and type this in for you. And this will be my number. Oops.
Okay.
Yep. And just go ahead and, you can message me and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I see you're in Leawood, Kansas. We used to do
That's
storm.
like Kansas City. I'm like state line, in between Kansas and Missouri, like state line. Really.
Oh wow,
Like,
wow. Okay, I
yes.
know Yep.
So
I
it
used to-
helps to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we used to do storm chasing in that area about 20 years ago as students and stuff like that. And then also took some travel time out there as well. So I'm familiar with it. I haven't been out there in quite some time. But anyways, yes, that's great that I didn't know where Leewood, Kansas was. I knew where Salinas, Kansas was, and like
Oh, yeah.
Kansas City, Kansas was, like the different. But it's been a while since I've been out there. But
Yeah.
this was a great privilege to interview, and I thank you for your time. And I'll send you that link over here within the next 5 minutes, and this will be uploaded within an hour. It should be on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and any other pages I can get it up before 7:30.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I really
Yep.
do. I love what you're doing, and I hope more people can, reach out to you and grow with you and in themselves, and especially for humanity. So I
Yes,
appreciate you.
yes. It's one of those things, and like I want to get, so many subscribers, but then it's listen audience, you have to get it out there. It's one of those things in which you're competing. Now, I know the two TV shows I've been interviewed for, I have more subscribers than them, which is pretty good. But there's other places that are beating me by a long shot. So if you know of any other people that might want interviewed on here or subscribe. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All the subscribers I need.
Yeah. There's a couple of people now. Do you do this for everything, for anything and everything?
I try to be as generalization as possible, but I'm also trying to do it for a dissertation. If I try to get that far with the school that I'm at right now, I'm really in a debate with it because of how they're grading my stuff right now. But it looks like I'm going to go through with it. It's just a project management study of different stuff, of different leaders, what they do, whatever homelessness, overseas. I've interviewed people all over the world, practically. So, and then, usually I'm trying to get it up there to where it might be, where if a lot of people see it, that I can start making money on it. Not at this point in time, because it's just the crowd is small. So, and then, it's one of those things I'm going to do as a volunteer because even I have to improve. And even though the people that are setting up the show for me, we all have to improve, no matter what, how ever it is.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm super excited to do this, but it's also one of those things in which it's not at that time where we like charge $150 or $200 because I tried it. It's like, nah, nobody wants to pay for it. But there are people out there that are paying for it. They have their own shows and stuff like that. The one show that I was on, I got charged $250 to put my book on. The other one, I got almost $600. And
Wow.
so I mean, you can get on, but it's one of those things. If you're trying to break your name out, this is the show to get on for that. Because I have school connections, I have international connections, with Philippines, Nigeria, and all this other stuff going on with the social media.
Okay. I have a lady who she's a sex trafficking survivor. She has a powerful story, and she's doing powerful things from that. I'll give you her name out, and I'll give her name to you, and vice versa. And then I have another gentleman and he's in Britain, so he'd be an international contact. But what he did is he built a website so that you can remember your relatives. He doesn't charge. I mean, you've heard of digital imaging, and digital memories. You've heard of that, and they you like $5 or whatever. Do you know how much this guy charges?
How much?
One-time fee of $9.
Wow.
$9. I used it in the remembrance of my mom, and but it's for like future generations. Like you can put what they had, what they died from, and then like your future generations can see, and what kind of blood type she was, and all that. And you're the only one who can see this. And you can put up to 4 pictures on there. I think you can even interchange the pictures if you want to, but it's really simple. This is what I liked about it, was the simplicity of it. I like that it was really simple, and I'm trying to bring that to the United States here because it's not here, but it's offered like in India, and he's trying to reach all the different countries as well, but $9 is not bad. And then you can, and then your future generations can look at this and say, oh, okay, well then I need to look out for this condition, this medical condition, because, you know, this obviously runs in our family, you know, and kind of gives you a heads up of what, you know, and who your relative was, who your, you know, your lineage, your ancestors and stuff. So, and that's something that's a lifetime, and that's called life index, but it's yeah. So you might want to talk to him, you know, he's a really, you know, great guy too. And I'll give you his information, and I'll share your information with
Yeah,
him too.
so here's what I would advise. Talk to my assistant Teddy Blessing
Oh, I know.
about that and let her do it because she sets that all up. I appreciate all the feedback. That's great. Because that leads to more people to get on and we get them
Yeah.
scheduled. They don't, it doesn't, you know, like I said, we don't charge anything. Until I figure out to the point where if I get subscribers, it starts boosting up so much that we're, you know, it takes time. It's patience and one of those things, and which it takes time. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna build one day at a time, one step at a time. And
Exactly. Anything worth anything is gonna take some time, you know.
yeah, we're
You
gonna
don't
let
back
God take
easy.
care of it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, your story was definitely impacting, you know, because there's a lot of single mothers out there going through heck to doing what they need to do. And, you know, it's one of those things that also reminds me of my mom when she was raising me and my dad when they divorced, how everything was when it was from 4 years old all the way up to 17. And then learning from that instance and saying, no, I'm not going to live like that. I'm going to do what I have to do to get ahead and blow away for the touchdown, like run for the touchdown. And most of the time that happens, but sometimes as a late hasn't been happening. So that's what I train. Hey, budget this, budget that, budget this, budget that. And if something big comes in, that's great.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We all learn different things at different ages, even off of kids. It's amazing how the kids are these days with their computers and the smart boards and stuff like that. Yep.
I look to my daughter and I ask her opinion or her advice or whatever, you know, because she's very talented. She's an artist and she's just really, you know, very intelligent. The way, you know, I didn't think of the things, and they don't teach the things that they do now in schools that they did when we were kids in school, right? I
Yeah.
mean, tell me about it. And she's in honor society. She's in, you know, all of these
Wow.
things. Student council, and she has all these things lined up, you know, and she's getting when she hits high school, DECA, you know, and that's a career-based thing, you know.
Yeah.
And now in school, I don't know if you know this, but in school now they teach more life skills than anything else.
Yes, because I'm a substitute teacher, tutor, teacher, and author that run my own business from home. And also, they're more dependent on a smart board and their computers than anything these days. Some of them don't use their pencils that much. They ask for pencils. And I remember in school when we had two number two pencils. And if you didn't have any, the teacher would just say basically tough. We're not giving out a pencil for this or that, you know. And be real tough. If you didn't have your notebook, you didn't have your homework, if you said your dog ate the homework, that was like so funny, the class wasn't funny.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I taught her cursive. I told her, you're going to learn how to do this because it doesn't matter if they teach you that or not. It doesn't matter because if you think about it, cursive is still going to be around, and you need to learn how to read it. You need to know how to read it. I mean, what if you see it and you don't know what you're reading? Come on, it's like a foreign language. You've got to know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you're in kindergarten, first, second, third grade, you're gonna read Dr. Seuss. Or you're gonna read all these other books that are gonna try to get you up to that reading, which I did when I was a kid. And then
Yeah.
the other level books, and then all the, you know, it goes up and on and on and on, you know. So
Yeah.
this is what it
True.
is.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're a substitute teacher. That, you know, that's very impactful right there already too. You know, teaching kids. What grade are you? All of them?
It's basically K through 12. I should actually be teaching college because basically the thing is that you know, I have books in college, the college material, and basically that's it. You know what I mean? But I choose to do this because it's an impactful life. It, in Philadelphia, they need the teachers, they need the resources.
Yes.
And you go through a lot of different types of things with this point in time. So, I mean, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
you have to also have a lot of patience. I mean, when you
Yeah.
discipline kids, you got to watch out because, I mean, when you have a
Yeah.
podcast and you have an author, books and stuff like that, I have them what's called haters. People get jealous when you do stuff and you're trying to be successful at it. And it's just one of those things in which, why are you giving me even this problem? You know what I mean? You're in a classroom, you're doing your job, you're supposed to do what you do. And then these people are just not, it's not a friendly association sometimes because it's
Yeah.
just one of those things in which it's a different type of world out there where they're evil and malicious instead of being supportive and friendly.
Right.
So it's one of those things in this, in which um if I get these jobs that I'm expecting, I'm out of that perspective. Because it's not worth my time anymore sometimes. Because it's just the way people aren't thankful for what you do. It's what it is. But that's definitely a perspective of it in itself. But
Right.
anyways,
Exactly.
appreciate having you a guest. Good luck being a mother out there. And I hope your teenager's successful and keep learning off of your children because your children will be the bright spot right there. Because it's amazing how these just kids know how to do things better than the adults sometimes. I was never open minded to it for one thing. I'm like, how did you know that? You know what I mean? I'm a doctoral student. I think I should. You don't know it all just because you got 4 degrees. There's always something that you're not going to know.
That's true. Yeah, we don't stop learning till we die.
Right, exactly. So once again, I do appreciate your time. We're almost,
You
yeah, we're out of time here actually. I'm gonna get this video up as soon as possible, and plus I got a bunch of phone calls that just came in. So anyways, I
okay.
appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great day, and then look out for that reviews link. It's gonna come from bark.com. I appreciate a 5-star review. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. You take care. All the
Yep.
best.
Bye.